Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Clocked In with the Press, hosted at Altman Studios in Brentwood, California. In this podcast, we highlight individuals and organizations in the community that we believe deserve your attention. Not everything stated in this podcast is supported by or reflects the beliefs of the press. If you would like to share your thoughts or get involved with any of the guests we have had on the show, you can do so on Twitter or Instagram at PressClockedIn or on Facebook at thepress.net. This is your host, Caitlin Gleason, clocking in. For the story of the day, we get to speak with a familiar face, or in this case of the show, a familiar voice, who works with the Village Community Resource Center. This center is an organization that works for the entire community and helps provide access to basic necessities and aid. Before we bring him onto the show, however, let's go over the top stories of the week.
Hey press fans, this is Jake Menez once again reading your top stories for December 10th. First up, the Brentwood Library has opened a used bookshop. The Brentwood Library now has a store for used books on its second floor. The books are offered at a cheaper price than at other stores, and the funds are used to help expand the library's resources. That means more books, DVDs, other kinds of media you can borrow from them. By supporting the used bookstore, readers are able to give back to the library while also giving themselves something new to enjoy. Ruben Padilla of Oakley traveled to Baku, the capital of the Eastern European country of Azerbaijan, for the 2021 Trampoline Gymnastics World Championships back in mid-November. Padilla snagged a bronze medal in the individual double mini trampoline competition and a silver medal as a member of the USA all-around competition squad. Padilla finished just 2.5 points behind gold medal winner Vasily Makarsky of the Russian national team in the individual double mini trampoline competition. He finished 0.2 points behind Portugal's silver medalist Diogo Cabral. The USA all-around team finished just a point out of first to the Russian national team. Padilla was also a member of the team that finished fourth in the double mini trampoline, with Alexander Rankert and Changamir Anderson, and sixth in the synchronized trampoline event with teammate Cody Giselli. A trio of Bay Valley Athletic League stars were among the best cross-country runners in the state gathered at Fresno's Woodward Park on November 27th for the California Interscholastic Federation Cross-Country State Championship meet. Heritage seniors Dominic DePiero and James Woolery were in the field for the Division II boys race, while Riley Gwynn, a junior on Liberty's League Championship girls team, competed in another race. All three BVAL runners finished in the top half of their respective races. DePiero was the highest finisher of the three. He crossed the finish line in 16 minutes and 10 seconds, finishing 43rd in the 188-person race. The California Department of Water Resources, DWR, amended a federal permit application last week to change the preferred tunnel route to the proposed Delta Conveyance Project, a move that has Delta advocates questioning the department's long-term plans for the South Delta. The agency said the move was necessary to align the federal permit application and an environmental impact report that is currently being prepared by the department. The DWR stressed that the change doesn't mean a decision has been made regarding the route the tunnel will take if the project ends up being approved.
Those were the top weekly stories. Let's get back to the main topic at hand. Here to talk with me today is Program Director Jose Rizzo. Hi, thank you for coming on the show.
Of course, I love it. Thank you so much for having me again.
As you know, you are on the show today to talk about the Christmas programs and activities at VCRC. Tell me a little bit about them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a time of the year where our kids are really in need. I can share that most parents will count on whatever support they get through VCRC as the one gift their children will be receiving. So this is an awesome opportunity for community members to be able to connect and engage and know that all of their support is going directly to the families that are most in need. So I'd love to be able to highlight one of the programs that we're working with right now, specifically Willie's Bagels and Blends is having a giving tree. Now, they've been hosting a giving tree for quite a few years, supporting local kids out here in Brentwood, and this year is no different. We are partnering with them once again out of their two locations, one's off of 2nd Street and the other one's off of Balfour. And folks are able to go into the coffee shop, pull off one of the gift tags that is sitting on the tree there and take a look at all the details of the kiddo that's in need. And then go ahead and add it to their everyday shopping and come back with the gift and know that it's going to a child in need.
And so aside from doing, things like toys and items, are there any food programs or things like that VCRC is also involved in with Willie's Bagels?
In terms of food, no. We always love cross-promoting, though, in the sense of making sure that our partners get a voice out there as well. I can, however, say that we're continuing our partnership with grocery outlet out here in Brentwood. Awesome new location off of Brentwood Boulevard. They've been very amazing to us, connecting items to our families during this time of need. I mean, we all know that because of the pandemic, folks are suffering, and the holiday season is only that much more difficult for folks. So it's amazing to be able to connect with folks at Grocery Outlet. So a huge thank you to those people out there.
And how many kids and families are usually helped by this program?
So programs will help out on average about 100 families. Now, some of our programming during this year also includes bike giveaways through Kids Bike Lane. There's a pajama drive that is hosted locally as well. In addition to a new one that just came our way for the second year, coming from Operation Giving Tree, which is an awesome effort from Helping Hand operation here in Brentwood. It's a movement driven by local youth. A lot of them are in high school or in college, so that's another opportunity for folks to be able to connect. And for more information, they can go to helpinghandoperation@gmail.com. And they're also taking monetary donations, which is something that's a little bit different this year. Again, needs are beyond just toys, and there's some great opportunities right now to connect locally, to give locally to organizations like VCRC as well.
For the VCRC program specifically, is there a deadline or a last chance or day that people would be able to donate to the gifting program?
So we actually receive donations up until the day of Christmas and sometimes after Christmas. The truth of it is that we're going to come across people deeper into the holiday season, and maybe they weren't able to get their tag done on time, but it doesn't mean the need went away. So we will continue to receive items. You can call directly to our line 925-626-7892 if you'd like to drop off a donation. Our ask is that you make contact with us first. There are times where folks think they could just leave a donation on the doorstep. It's not that we aren't grateful for it, but we aren't able to give it the attention that it needs. So we want to make sure that whatever donation is received by a staff member or a volunteer with VCRC, so we can make sure to get it to the person that's most in need.
So say a person, doesn't grab one of the tags, right? But they still want to give a gift. If they call you guys and they still want to donate, are they still able to give a donation, or does it have to be with a tag?
No tag required at this point. We're so fortunate to have amazing community members that will come to VCRC, and this is something that stays open for community as well, where people will ask to adopt a family or two, and we will be able to connect one or two families. We always want to respect privacy. I know oftentimes our amazing donors want to be able to take a picture or make a direct connection, but privacy is important. This is one of those times where we want to make sure that people don't lose their dignity. Right? I think it goes without saying that I know oftentimes folks want to help, but there's something to also respecting the privacy of the person in need. This might be the only opportunity that they have to connect with somebody. So we want to make sure to limit any hindrances that would prevent these folks from coming back later. But no, there's no limitation. So folks adopt families, whether it be with dinners, with specific clothing items, with school supplies, with books. Really, the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of having the heart that's willing to give.
So to kind of shift away from the Christmas a little bit and kind of also looking towards New Year's, do you guys have any New Year's Eve programs or events that people can look forward to or that might be open to the public?
Well, we are really looking forward to the possibility of opening up our doors for more than our limited support for our kiddos right now. Our after-school academy has been functioning on more of a hybrid system. So the children that are in most need are the ones that we're having come in for one-on-one tutoring support. So we're hoping to expand that out after the new year. We are very respectful of the needs for folks to be vaccinated or not be vaccinated. But it's just one of those opportunities when we know that folks are vaccinated to be able to connect with more kids and ensure the safety of both the children, their parents, and our staff. So we're hoping to expand and offer more there.
Looking back on the year, what have been some highlights for the VCRC?
It's been an amazing year. I would say our greatest highlights are really our parents, who are above and beyond the backbone of what we do at VCRC. They are more than parents. They're community leaders. They represent their community so well. as I shared in our previous discussion, they're not just there for a handout. It's more of a hand up. And oftentimes people will come in, introduced through our After School Academy program, but then they'll want to continue to support. So our food distribution is one of those amazing highlights where our community members, our parent leaders have stepped up and they really run it 100%. And they tell us kind of what's needed. We've been able to also partner with La Clínica, in addition to Together Towards Health and providing information around COVID vaccinations and COVID education. So it's been a successful campaign and just getting information out there. Oftentimes the communities that we work with are monolingual in a specific language. Bilingual isn't always something that comes too easily. And even then, the information sources that they connect to are monolingual sources. And unfortunately, they're not always the most reputable. So being able to connect true and factual information to them has just been this amazing opportunity. And again, this has been driven by community. It is not VCRC staff that is out there promoting and giving the information. Community asked us to get involved in this, and it's community representing the voice and connecting the information. So yeah, the biggest highlight is there, and just a huge thank you to our staff. I mean, we've transitioned quite a few times between the changes around the different restrictions because of the pandemic, and we've gone from being a 100% in-person staff to being a 100% digital staff, and now we are functioning on a hybrid format. So just to have that nimbleness and just the patience from our staff has been so huge, and we really appreciate them, hands down.
A lot of adaptation.
It's been a lot. It's been difficult. You know, everything from being hired to do work in a certain way to being able to adapt and adjust. And it goes beyond just the idea of a job. They've added on additional tasks to themselves this year than what we've done in previous iterations. And that's really just, it speaks to the growth of VCRC and just our carrying capacity of wanting to continue to grow, not just for ourselves, but for our communities.
So it moved on from being just a job to being like a mission and a cause to kind of help build the community in a way that it can survive the pandemic and kind of come together.
Well, that's the biggest thing. You know, I've spoken at length with community members and in other instances with other nonprofits and other avenues of support. I think the perfect vision we would have would be for the day that VCRC is no longer needed, because community has everything that it needs to support, to build itself, to hold itself up, and to have all of the necessary social services provided by government. I mean, I think that is the final destination, really, is what we seek to create this fair and equitable space for everybody. So it goes beyond us, you know, and I think I can speak for everybody at VCRC. The day that we can get there is the day that we can finally, you know, sit back and just relax a little bit and know that everything's going well.
And so when it comes to January and 2022, we talked a little bit about how you're excited to kind of expand the participation with the kids. But what are some other new upcoming programs in the new year or the new school year or semester that parents, kids, and other members of the community could look forward to?
Yeah, great question. Bringing us back to it, I think for the last year or so, we focused a lot of attention on creating this safety net around mental support and mental well-being. So we've been putting in a lot of hours as staff, as community members, to develop a program where we'll not only create this resiliency amongst community members, but this capacity to see one, do one, teach one, if you will, to where we can expand organically with community members to really create these avenues for folks to feel supported, but also to know that there's a place to connect to. I think oftentimes when we speak to the challenges of mental health, people don't know that there are places to connect to. And furthermore, there isn't this cultural sensitivity piece. So if people don't feel safe, and that's specifically what we're trying to tackle with building this program, with community support, with community involvement, to really respect those needs and to attract attention of those that are in most need. In addition to that, we continue looking for avenues to expand the healthcare safety net. We are in continuing discussions with other partners to see how we can expand amazing programs like the one that John Muir offers us with the mobile health clinic out here in Brentwood to possibly explore opportunities, whether it be John Muir or other organizations, to support deeper east in areas where there are even less resources. And we're also taking a look at opportunities just to connect now. The next goal is to get our kids out and about a little bit more. So we're really focusing attention with partners around field trips again. And that's going to be one exciting opportunity to expose our kids to maybe not necessarily new things, but things that they haven't seen in a long time.
You know, years back, I actually worked a tiny part-time summer job at the VCRC. And I remember one of the field trips things we would do is we would take them out to the Contra Loma and we would teach the kids how to swim. And I just got a very visceral flashback about how tiring it was because I had to be in the water with like 11 children. Yeah. And they were like, let's go play, you know, Miss Kaylin. And be like, okay, carrying children on my back. Yeah. But I know that they had a good time with those types of outings and being able to just kind of explore the world a little bit around them.
Well, I'll tell you that is one of those things, even as a program director, I remember just spending time with the kiddos, doing things just like that and swim and working on their homework with them. When we went into the pandemic and that was gone from the center, it was like the spirit was just out of VCRC for a long time. And once we started hearing those giggles, those laughs, even those cries, surprisingly enough, right? It was like, this is why we do what we do. We want to change that tomorrow for these kids. We want to give them this vision for improvement, this vision for change, but not just for themselves, but for them to want to be able to come back and give back. So, I mean, you called it a small part-time job, and yet here we are, right? Reconnecting with all these amazing avenues, and here you are giving back to VCRC and you know, I'm super grateful for this opportunity that we were able to implant a little seed in you, and it's just grown. And, you know, we hope that just like you had success and experience that everybody who walks through VCRC will experience some measure of impact, some measure of success, and, you know, continue to grow and expand and give. And that might be just within their homes, but it'll also be hopefully within their communities.
Yeah, kind of just like planting like those roots of just giving and making sure that people still want to participate in the community. But on that note, on that idea of, you know, giving and stuff, to jump back to the idea of the Christmas programs, if a person wanted to contribute to the Christmas programs, you mentioned people being able to call you to donate. Are there any other best ways for them to do so? Would it be through the website?
Yes. So thank you so much for that. VCRC, BrentwoodCA.org. We have a donate button that's very prominent right at the top. There are many ways to give to VCRC. We've listed quite a few of them there, even as part of your life planning course, if you will, for folks that are retiring. And there are avenues to continue to support. I mean, we are here as a result of community. We are here as a result of local donations, and we want to continue that. So again, VCRC, BrentwoodCA.org, right at the very top, donate. But also time. I think that's one of those things where folks might be strapped at different times for opportunities to donate funds, but time goes a long way. You know, if folks are willing to give an hour, a few hours, that's huge. I could speak to the amazing opportunity that the kiddos out of Liberty High School have right now. They are interning with us during this time, and they are making a huge difference. Everything from creating lesson plans for our kiddos to taking a look at data points for us as we want to better inform community regarding the evolution of Brentwood Boulevard. So there are some amazing opportunities to be able to give to VCRC. In addition to secondhand bikes. As I mentioned previously, we've partnered with Kids Bike Lane to donate new bikes. But this is an opportunity where maybe you've grown out of a bike, or maybe your kids have grown out of a bike and you want to give it a second chance at life. We've been able to partner with Kids Bike Lane successfully to repurpose secondhand, slightly used bicycles to give back to community. There are people who struggle just to have money for bus fare. So a bike goes a long way to help them to connect to their daily lives.
On the flip side of that coin, if a person wanted to be on the receiving end of the VCRC programs, how would they go about doing that? And would there still be time for them to participate in the Christmas program specifically?
So, yes, the best way to connect is giving us a call, 925-626-7892. Gloria Pantoja is an amazing navigator for VCRC. She oversees all of our programs in the sense of connecting resources directly to families and to individuals. So she is your first point of contact for any needs. And it's funny, even throughout the year, we don't limit these opportunities for giving and connecting on resources. We've had folks come in and say, hey, I need help finding a car seat, right? So we're able to connect local members that maybe have kiddos that have grown out of a car seat, and we're able to connect those resources. So yes, there are always opportunities for people to connect in need. We might have the resource directly, or we might connect people with a partner indirectly as well. A trusted partner.
So hypothetically, if I had a friend who, kind of needed help this season, but it would be hard for them to ask for help, would I be able to kind of ask for help in their stead and kind of get you connected with them?
Yeah, definitely. That's been a huge avenue for folks connecting to VCRC. I think oftentimes we run into this moment in our lifetimes where we are in a position that we are not accustomed to. Right. I know I could speak for myself. I know what it's like to be unemployed. I know what it's like to have to ask for assistance in places that I've never gone to. So we have community members that live those lives every day, and they just don't know how to ask, right? Or maybe it has to do with a point of dignity or pride, and we respect that, right? Because that's something that we all are entitled and should be entitled to, and yet the need is still there, right? So yes, we oftentimes receive a lot of our connection points through references, right? Through folks that have a friend or know a friend of a friend in need, and they end up connecting to VCRC, whether it be directly or indirectly. Ultimately, at the end of the day, for us, it isn't about touting all of the amazing things that VCRC does. It's really about touting this capacity of love that the community has to think outside of themselves. You might be having this amazingly successful time in life, and your best friend might be struggling right now. And maybe your best friend just doesn't know how to ask or who to ask, and the love in your heart, the compassion in your heart drives you to ask for them. We are here to help. At the end of the day, we don't close our doors to anybody. And again, if we don't have the avenue to connect the resource, we will find the avenue that you might need. I mean, housing is one of those huge areas right now, I think in general, that people are struggling with. And we are not the experts in housing, but we will make sure to connect you with the expert, whether that be for you, a loved one, or maybe the friend of a loved one. Please consider VCRC as a point of contact for connection on resources.
So even if you all can't directly help with a problem, you will make sure that you're able to find a connection that is able to help a person with a problem that they have.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time in connecting with partners, whether that be through a simple coffee break, if you will, and just chatting about programs and connections, to just some of our bigger networks where we talk about issues at a regional level. It goes without saying that these resources, they don't belong to us. We're just stewards of these resources. And if it isn't VCRC that gives you the support, but Echo Housing that gives you the support, at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to benefit from it. And that's why we do what we do. At the end of the day, we do a really good job of listening, whether that be to community members, to agencies, to nonprofits, to government entities. And it's like, okay, at some point that might be useful. Right. And then when we connect in partnership with other groups or just people in need, it's like, all right, I'm going to go pull that feather. I've built the relationship. I've done everything necessary. I trust this person. Because I think that's the hard part as well. Oftentimes we could refer to somebody, but organization X, entity X just doesn't have a good network of care really to be able to support. The website might say one thing, but you learn something in just dialogue like this.
So you don't just find places they could go to, you actually form the relationship. Yeah. So this way the people you're helping don't necessarily have to do all that legwork. Yeah,
there's a measure of vetting, I guess you could say, is what we really do, because the opposite could be true, right? In that we could harm somebody by connecting them with a false hope, right? And that is really, that's counterproductive
Right.
to the end goal, to the end mission. Now, with that said, we also just present, right? I mean, if it's a matter of I don't have a contact, but you still have a need. Look, I don't know these agencies. I've done the work to go ahead and uncover opportunities to connect for resources. I can connect you there. However, let's stay in contact. Let's stay in touch so that regardless of where that interaction takes you, we know where to go next. So if it was a great interaction, awesome. I know that I can connect organization X, entity X with a community member down the road, or potentially, it's an opportunity for me to connect on a personal level with organization X or entity X to see like how can we improve this warm handoff process.
There's just a big emphasis on comprehensive community connection and really formulating those relationships and making sure that they're positive and progressive and doing what we need people to do.
No, and that's exactly it. I think as we talk about the type of work that VCRC does and that organization similar to VCRC does is there are layers to all of this. There are folks that connect direct services. There are folks that connect resources like a 211 is amazing in just connecting a ton of resources in general. VCRC is more of a warm handoff, of a personal interaction. You have organizations like Hijas del Campo that connect direct resources to farming communities. But then you also have folks that do like policy work that are looking to change systems, right? And all of these layers to more equitable access to resources for community, they're all important. It's just a matter of figuring out how do they all connect and how do they all support one another. There's enough resources to go around amongst organizations. We just want to make sure that we're respectful and mindful of that.
That's wonderful. And, as we continue moving through the holiday season and featuring different organizations, my hope for those listening is that not only do we embrace the spirit of Christmas, but the giving nature as well. After all, the many songs that we hear every single year all sing about an innate, purposeful, and intentional kindness to those who we call strangers. This Christmas, as you're rushing through stores to find that perfect gift or skimming Amazon for strangely accurate mugs to give to your friends, think about what you can do for a stranger and take action on it. After all, the only way that our world can become a better place is if those living in it choose to do something about it. Jose, before I end the episode, is there anything else that you would like to share?
Just a huge thank you to our community. It's been a long year.
It has.
Really long year.
Really long.
Yeah. And it's made easier when you get to connect with the amazing people that we get to work with on a daily basis, staff, volunteers, interns, but above all, just our local community. Everybody at VCRC is local, which is just part of the beauty of what we do. And just it's a huge thank you. And, looking forward to what next year is going to bring. And regardless of what it brings, just the importance of staying connected and grounded as a community to make sure that we can support one another.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I think that it's really easy for people to focus on all the negative things that are happening globally, nationally, locally. And I think that it's people like you and the VCRC and organizations that just work to create that positive change in the community that are kind of keeping people afloat in these difficult times. So I really appreciate you not just coming onto the show, but for all of the work that you do for the community.
Thank you so much.
That's it for today's episode of Clocked In with the Press. I appreciate each and every single one of you that took your time to tune into the show. I hope that as we finish out the year, you will find joy and happiness through the messaging that we bring you. If you're interested in being involved in the VCRC or any other group we have featured, you can go to the link tree on Instagram at PressClockedIn or in the description of respective episodes. You can also stay updated on the latest Contra Costa County happenings at www.thepress.net, as well as on Facebook at thepress.net. Have a Merry Christmas and a great day, and I look forward to speaking with you in the next episode. This is Caitlin Gleason, clocking out.